In this video, I'm going to be talking about preparing for the next market shift as a real estate agent. You've seen the headlines. Interest rates are rising for borrowers. Homes are sitting on the market longer. I've seen agents posting in different Facebook groups that they're actually getting sellers calling them as the buyer's agent asking for feedback. That hasn't happened in a while because homes have been in such high demand, they've been selling left and right with very to little no days on the market. My name's AJ Maida, and if you could do me a huge favor and subscribe to my channel if you've been watching for a little bit, that would really mean a lot to me. There are 5 main things that you can do to essentially prepare for a shifting market. The first one's the easiest, and it's to cut back on expenses. Now don't click off this video yet. I know this one isn't sexy. You're hoping to hear how you can generate more business, make more money and everything, but when you really think about it, cutting back on expenses is making more money. I put this as number 1 because it's immediate, you can do it today. So be thinking about, actually write them all down on a piece of paper, like what are subscriptions that you're paying for that you're no longer using? As real estate agents, we're sold to by so many different vendors, lead generation companies, different CRM systems, dialer systems, marketing for direct mail, magnets, all these different gifting companies. There's probably a lot that you have that you're not even really utilizing, or at the very least not getting a good return on your investment that you can cut today. I'd start with the biggest ones first and work your way down. If you can cut out even say $100, $500, $1,000 a month in recurring charges that you're not really benefiting from, that's really going to help you in a shifting market. If you're a top producing real estate agent and you have assistants or transaction coordinators or even buyer's agents, who's not productive on your team that you could let go before you really need to? This one's going to be a little more challenging because I'm sure you don't want to let anyone go, but if there's an unproductive team member that's costing you time, money, and energy, you need to let them go now because you're going to need all resources as the market starts to slow a little bit. Number 2, begin strengthening relationships with your circle of influence. Clean up your database. Make sure that everybody's in there, organized. Make sure everyone, you have their phone number, their email address, their home address. Make sure that everybody's on some kind of touch program, preferably email and direct mail. Make sure that you're calling them or at least texting them on a semi-regular basis. I recommend at least once a month. You want to really re-engage these relationships. You want to strengthen these relationships because in a slowing market, you really want to lean on your circle of influence for not only them using you as their agent, but also for referrals. Be thinking about how can you invest more money into those relationships. Could you start sending gifts? There's a great gifting company out there. If you want some more information on it, reach out to me, aj@ajmoney.com, and I'll get you a link to it, where they send out automatic gifts on a regular basis for a very low cost. There's different low cost direct mail companies. There's different low cost card companies where you can send out unlimited cards. You really just want to be front of mind for all of these people. It's really going to hurt if you're not maximizing the return on your circle. If you don't have that top of mind awareness, they might be using other agents, they might be referring out people to other agents, or simply they might just not be referring their friends and family to anybody because they don't really know a good agent, even though you sold their house 3 years ago, but you haven't stayed in touch with them. This is a gold mine, so really be thinking about how can you take that database management game to the next level. Number 3, start to focus on listings. Listings equals leverage. Listings are going to create more leads. Listings bring in more buyers, right? So just by having a listing, you can actually generate more sales from that one listing. Well, how do you get listings? Seller prospecting. It's virtually free unless you sign up for a company like RedX, and if you want a $149 discount on RedX, which I highly recommend you use, get the for sale by owner data going, the expired data. You want to use their dialer system. It's really a great system and I highly recommend it. Link in the description to save some money. There's a lot of different strategies I teach, and I have a free seller prospecting mini course in the description of this video. Go ahead and sign up for free, no strings attached. That's my gift to you for smashing the like button and subscribing to this channel. If you've never prospected for sellers before, just know that this is going to be the rock foundation that you build your business on, that no matter what market conditions you're in, you're going to have a smooth ride. Build your pipeline before you need it. If the market really shifts hard and your sales dry up and you guys start from scratch with building your pipeline, it takes 90, 120 days to really get good momentum when it comes to seller prospecting. Whereas if you start now, if we experience a hard market shift, you're going to have all these sellers, all these leads that you've been nurturing and talking to and building relationships with that are getting ready to sell their home, and you are able to go ahead and step in, become that listing agent, and now you're listing homes consistently because you put in the work now before you really felt that sense of urgency. Number 4, sharpen your skills in marketing. What do I mean by skills? Your listing presentation, your buyer presentation, calling for sale by owners, calling your Zillow leads, reaching out to referrals of people who are referred to you. Like Any interaction with clients, what are you saying? Are you just winging it, or do you have a strategic script that you're following? And it doesn't have to be an exact script every time, but you should have a script that either you got from a real estate coaching company, you found online, or you got from a mentor. You want to be having a framework of the conversations you're having that's systematic and repeatable. You don't want to be winging it every time, because there are scripts that are proven to work and convert at a higher level out there. So be practicing your sales conversations with other agents, because you don't want to malpractice. What do I mean malpractice? You don't want to practice on your clients. That's the most expensive lesson that you could possibly get as a real estate agent. So practice with your spouse, your significant other. Ideally, you have role play partners, agents that you're doing it with on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis. So be practicing your lead generation scripts, your objection handlers, and your presentations. Step it up when it comes to branding and marketing. Can you get a better headshot? If you're sending out direct mail pieces or emails, can you make those look better, more professional? Maybe you should hire a designer to redo your listing presentation, your buyer presentation. I recommend using Canva, canva.com. It's free, it's easy to use, and there's tons of great templates for social media graphics, listing presentations, even just listed, just sold postcards. It's important that your branding's congruent, so make sure if you're doing the branding yourself that everything has a flow, everything looks similar. But there's so many designers out there that will do it pretty cheap. You can go to like Fiverr.com or Odesk. There's different services where you can hire a virtual assistant super cheap that can do it for you. And number 5, and this is the most important out of all of them, work on your mindset. If you're not constantly working on your mindset, you're not performing at your highest level. If you've never gotten involved with personal development before, it's easy to start. Podcast, YouTube. If you've never really developed yourself personally through podcasts, YouTube, and books, start slow, 15 minutes a day. We live in a world where information is so abundant, and I don't want you to waste that opportunity. Zig Ziglar used to call it automobile university. He used to just stick that cassette in his tape player in his car and drive around and work on himself. Now we can stream stuff. It's all free. You don't even have to pay for the cassettes. So if you're not doing it, why aren't you doing it? Instead of listening to so much music, start listening to things that are going to feed you mentally and spiritually. I listen to a lot of different podcasts. I read a lot of books, but if you're just getting started, one of my favorite books that I like to recommend is Success Principles by Jack Canfield. It's easy to read, it's entertaining, and there's so many great lessons in it. Another one that I highly recommend is Darren Hardy, Compound Effect. These are great books that are just really going to help you build stronger habits that are going to help you in both your personal and business life. I've heard it said before that your mindset is 90% of your success, so don't neglect this area. Look for different podcasts that you're interested in. I like following Ed Mylett right now. He's got a great podcast. He just released a book called The Power of One More. He's just got a great style, and he's a great teacher. A really good real estate podcast out there is Real Estate Rockstars. I've listened to that early on in my real estate career. Pat Hyben's recently sold it in the last couple years, so I don't really listen to it as much anymore, but if you go back to the archives, the first couple years of that show was invaluable, and I'm sure the content's still good. Obviously, you're here on my YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch older videos of mine. You can subscribe to my channel so you're alerted when all the new videos come out. Just be thinking every day, be working on your mindset. I love Zig Ziglar. One of the things that he says that I think is so funny is that people are saying, oh, motivation doesn't last, why even bother? Well, showering doesn't last either, but you do it daily, right? And it's the same thing with motivation, staying inspired. Do it daily because it doesn't last. If you find yourself in a rut or just a little bit down, look at your daily habits. Are you reading? Are you listening to positive, uplifting content? Are you working out? That's another big one. That helps your mindset too. So those are the 5 things that I would be thinking about going into this potential market crash, market shift. If you found this helpful, help me a lot. Give me a like on the video. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help in the comments. And if you want that free course, the description for seller prospecting, if you want a discount to RedX, link in the description to save $149, and I'll see you in the next video.